Something insane is happening right now.
You cheater, you cheating. It's bang out the machete, boom in her face, and grip her up by the neck. Like, shut up, bitch!
Andrew Tate, a person who is, depending on who you ask, either a revolutionary manosphere guru.
Yeah, the Matrix is trying to frame me, but God knows the truth. There's no evidence in my files. I've done nothing wrong. Everybody knows I'm innocent.
Or the greatest con man the internet has ever seen.
But when a multi-millionaire says, I'll teach you how to make millions for $49, you're worried about a scam. How stupid are you?
You want to blow up the internet? I'll blow up the internet right effing now.
To allegations of human trafficking.
Unless you put makeup on, and this is the reality.
Case involving the online influencer Andrew Tate.
Before diving deep into this rabbit hole, let's first understand what toxicity is. Toxicity is defined as the quality of being very harmful or unpleasant in a pervasive way. It is when you know something isn't right, but choose to turn your back and not change it. Toxicity is when you turn a blind eye to injustices. People like Dan Bilzerian, Tucker Carlson, and Alex Jones, who profit off of other people's emotions and vulnerability by turning their struggles as content for views and clicks. It's not just capitalism playing, but also it's being extremely toxic.
With 6 of its students dead, the University of California Santa Barbara community is in mourning.
In 2014, Elliot Rodger went on a shooting and stabbing spree, killing 6 and injuring 14 at the University of California, Santa Barbara. Rodger was a self-proclaimed incel, short for involuntary celibate. A group of young men who feel furious at their perceived rejection by women and meet online to discuss and spread their ideology. Their toxic misogyny fuels a hatred for women that has led to several recent incidents of mass violence, with many incels citing Rodger's own disturbing manifesto as an inspiration. People like Tate have appealed to men who are either naive or have faced the wrong side of feminism, or movements associated with it. Men who have been cheated in a relationship were quick to judge that all women are like that, or men who have had a hard time dating women and have believed that it is because of how they look, or men who have a belief that all women like rich guys only, and that all women are gold diggers. These men who have held grudges have a fixed way of looking at women. They are an easy option for men like Tate to prey upon. Elon Musk, who recently acquired Twitter, has also been playing with the staff by firing them randomly and playing with the users of Twitter just cause he can, just cause he has the money, just cause he can simply get away with something like, oh, it's just a joke, or I was just kidding.
What are his vast global audiences being subjected to? Insights like this.
So a woman can't go around people and pretend it's the same as a man running around people. It's absolutely not the same. A man can only cheat if he loves someone else. If I have a woman who I truly love, and I go out and I come back to her, and I don't care about her, and I only love my girl, that's not cheating. That's exercise.
And Andrew Tate, the self-proclaimed king of toxic masculinity, if you don't know who this man is, then let me give you a quick rundown on who he is, what he does, and what the dangers of his words and actions can be. In modern times, women aren't viewed as only homemakers, rather powerful, dignified human beings capable of whatever men can do. For years, women have struggled with getting their rights and continue to do so even right up to this very moment. Though we see progress, there's still a lot more to work on.
The more I have realized that fighting for women's rights has too often become synonymous with man-hating. If there is one thing I know for certain, it is that this has to stop.
It is no secret that having support from influential people really help in changing the way people think. Influential people have the power in them to help move society forward because they have a following, and of course, their followers will look up to them and follow along their footsteps. Having women like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in the US Congress, Kamala Harris as Vice President, Taylor Swift, Giorgia Meloni, the Prime Minister of Italy, and then in history we have Marie Curie, who worked on theory of radioactivity, Grace Hopper, who designed the Mark I computer in 1944, and others. It's pretty much a big deal because it is proof that women are capable of leading, women are capable of changing the status quo, that women can and will be the part of shaping our future. Now let's meet Andrew Tate, the most Googled person in the world. Amerio Andrew Tate III is a TikTok influencer and self-proclaimed king of toxic masculinity. He is a former professional kickboxer who is now what he calls himself, a businessman. Tate has over millions of followers who are mostly teenage boys, whom he charges for in exchange for lessons on being successful. While there's nothing wrong with setting up a business to teach the youth how to live a progressive life, the foundation of his teachings is where the problem is at. See, the thing about Tate and his views in life and what he stands up for are very problematic. It's true, we all want to live the life we dream of, but if the journey to achieving this includes stepping on other people and using them, then doesn't that seem quite wrong? Doesn't that make you an extremely selfish and bad human? Tate once said, "I have everything man has ever dreamed of. I get a big mansion, I get supercars, I can live anywhere I want, I got unlimited women, I go wherever I want, I do anything I want, all the time. So I'm an amazing role model." If you do a quick Google search of what a role model is, Google will give you this. A role model is a person whose behavior, example, or success is or can be emulated by others, especially by younger people. Is Tate really an amazing role model? If he sees women as objects he can acquire, putting women on the same list as material things he can easily buy with money, using women as accessories he can brag about to his millions of followers, he says in one video, acting out how he'd attack a woman if she accused him of cheating. When the sexual abuse cases against Harvey Weinstein came to light, Tate allegedly kept tweeting his views about what he thinks should be qualified as sexual harassment. In one of the most problematic statements he's come up with, he says that victims of sexual assault share responsibility for their assaults, which in other words is victim blaming. Victim blaming can cause repercussions on the abused. Firstly, admitting to oneself that you have been abused is a lot to handle. Secondly, the courage it takes to speak up about the abuse and the abuser is no joke. Going through the trauma all over again as you try to recount the scenario and how it all happened can strain one's mental health and can be a very heavy burden. So for Tate to say such a thing is really appalling. I just can't wrap my head around the fact that it is just so easy for him to throw statements like this around without thinking of how his words can affect the people around him. The White Ribbon Campaign, a non-profit organization against male-on-female violence, deemed Tate as extremely misogynistic, and if he were to coach his young male audience, then it is seriously alarming. But what do we expect when he himself admits that he is, in fact, absolutely sexist and misogynist? In response to all the hate he's getting, Andrew Tate then claims he has a lot of videos praising women and that he's not teaching young boys to be toxic masculines but to avoid toxic and low-valued people in general. But this statement doesn't undo the damage he's done by brainwashing so many young children into hating women in general. Andrew Tate is the son of one of the greatest chess players, Emory Tate Jr. He built his own name as a professional kickboxer and ranked 7th best light heavyweight kickboxer in Britain by ISKA, or International Sports Kickboxing Association. He was pretty good at his sport, winning championships here and there and even ranked number 1 in his division in Europe. Tate was then nicknamed King Cobra in the kickboxing community. After his kickboxing career ended, Tate was then invited into the British edition of the hit reality show Big Brother, a show where the contestants, also known as housemates, were to live under Big Brother's or the Game Master's house without having any access to the outside world for 100 days straight. Housemates were to live together with a bunch of strangers they will meet once the game commences. It wasn't long till he got kicked out of the show. 6 days after it aired, Tate was pulled out due to a video that went viral. In the video, he can be seen hitting a woman. A video of him and his then girlfriend circulated the internet and is seen that Tate is hitting the woman with a leather belt, forcing her to tell him she loves him. Tate later denied the allegations and said the hitting was consensual. He explained that apparently the video was a kinky sex video where both of them were acting out a role play. Producers of the show allegedly kicked him out due to the possibility that he could be of danger to other housemates in the show. Tate denies all the allegations thrown at him, but it wasn't enough to keep his airtime on the show going. After the Big Brother fiasco, Tate then started getting into social media. Tate started getting more and more followers on different social media platforms and gained over millions of dollars from his social media presence. He was able to build himself quite a following with over 4.2 million followers on Twitter and 11 billion views under hashtag Andrew Tate. You'd think that after such chaos, it would be the end of his career. Little did we know it was just the beginning.
His content openly condones and celebrates violence against women.
I've had a really hard time with Andrew Tate because obviously I kind of exist in the realm of feminism and calling out misogyny.
I think, he's presenting himself as this sort of maverick, this anti-hero, which is very appealing. He's showing them a way to sort of regain power and control.
Tate put up a lot of businesses that grew darker and darker with each passing day. Back then, Andrew, together with his brother, put up business where they sell pornographic webcam footage to men who are willing to buy them. When they got caught, they then admitted that the sole purpose of the business was to scam men into giving these girls and women money without anything in return.
We were just sitting on the bed and Andrew punched me in my arm. I went to the bathroom and cried. It really, really hurt to have someone just hit me in the arm for no reason. I was very confused.
The business was simply nothing but an excuse to milk money from men without them even knowing. Either way, what they had for a business was wrong in many, many ways. Andrew then moved forward with his life as if nothing happened. He continued to build his presence online and brought it to what it is today. He eventually just moved forward into whatever business venture he had in mind, not giving a second thought about lives he almost ruined. Tate moved to Eastern Europe in Bucharest, Romania, after being involved in a number of controversies that almost led to an arrest. In an interview, Tate then admits that he chose this part of Europe because apparently escaping rape and abuse charges in Eastern Europe are far more easier to do than any other place on earth. Even the mere fact of committing a crime should be enough to shake one's conscience and bring them back into their right minds. But I guess Tate is wired differently. Instead of staying away from trouble, he looks for convenient ways to escape getting caught. In one of his business, Hustlers University, Tate teaches these young boys how to live like a man and how to end up just like him, successful, powerful, and rich. Tate said men should live a life like a war. Showing no emotion and depression in men is not a real medical condition, and as a product of living such a life, men are entitled to sleep with as many women they want. And even if they have a girlfriend, it is not cheating. But women, on the other hand, should be submissive to men. It is a man's masculine imperative to provide financial support. And a woman who is attached or currently committed to a man is considered cheating even if she is just talking to another man or following a man on social media.
In all cheating scenarios, 100% of the blame is always on the female. It's true.
Just imagine, people are willing to pay him their hard-earned money just to listen to him talk like this. It is actually both disturbing and quite shocking to think that such a man can carry himself around as problematic as he is and still gets to make profit out of it. Hustlers University costs $39 a month in subscription and over $4,000 an year. Tate currently has over 160,000 members and is still counting up to this day. It is where Tate mostly preaches his thoughts and beliefs to his followers. Given that he's mostly banned on a lot of social media platforms, he gives his lessons on why he goes against the system, or as he calls it, the matrix, through private channels and or groups. And yes, you heard that right. Even though he has a huge following, Tate is mostly banned from a lot of social media platforms. But somehow, his messages still get across. A part of why he generates a lot of curiosity, of course, comes from people constantly talking about him everywhere on the internet. Bad publicity is still publicity. While this is true, you can't just hold on to it like your life depended on it. Every day is a chance to better yourself, to learn, to move forward. But why does he keep himself wrapped around the idea that what he does is right? That this way of thinking isn't what we all deem as problematic. Tate is known for his belief that life as a man is more difficult than it is for women. He has this fascination about living life where men are at the center of the world and rest is just noise. Just imagine the damage he's doing by planting his seed in the minds of young boys and how we as a society will pay for it in the future. I can only imagine the irreparable damage he's causing in the minds of all his members, the minds that were supposedly to be used for positive change, the minds of future generation. It amazes me how money and image can control the minds of thousands and thousands of people, yet given the benefit of doubt and say they aren't really buying into the nonsense. But can we really be sure? When it has come to this, are we really sure Andrew isn't as powerful as he claims to be? Andrew Tate has been in countless controversies which he used for his own gain. It's kind of genius actually, don't you think? Being hated by a lot of people but using that hatred as fuel to earn a huge amount of money. We are in times when we believe those who stand up against prejudices. After living for so long in suffering, we as humans should value the change we are enjoying right now, instead of letting this kind of a man get in the way of change. Andrew Tate having a platform is really bad news. Everything we as a society have worked for can all go down the drain if we let people like him have such power and have such platforms to keep his messages across. From forced labor down to sexual practices, it is no secret that we should find a solution to put a stop into this madness. To be able to reach a wide audience and spread across a message filled with hatred and misogyny is a very, very alarming thing. We have enough of these kind of people as it is right now. Why are we letting such people like Andrew add up to it? Why does he still have a platform? See, the root of all his problematic views in life comes from how he sees women and men. He sees women as objects, as something of men's possession. Men, on the other hand, he puts on a pedestal, making it seem like men are God's gift to human beings, and for him, physically or mentally weak men are trash and worthless. Inequality in any shape or form takes over his mind and would eventually lead him into doing such heinous stuff. Many analysts say they are sure Andrew Tate isn't even worth as much as he presents himself to be online, but according to Andrew, he's worth hundreds of millions of pounds. During his arrest, Andrew was residing in £600,000 compound in Bucharest, Romania. A lot of people are keen on asking if this is really the case, that he lives the life of a wealthy man because he follows the rules of life. If his Hustlers University courses were actually of use, I wonder, would people who follow the course start living like Andrew? Would they follow along the footsteps of one of the most problematic men in the world? Would they give their principles up in exchange for riches and other material things? But to be honest, I doubt that theory, that his course can actually help you grow in life. At most, it's a Ponzi scheme because Andrew pays commission to anyone who refers his course to other students. In a blink of an eye, everything we've worked hard for to achieve as a society can easily be taken away from us if we let such people be relevant. As adults, it is our duty to look after each other and help support positive changes, call out bad behavior, stop enabling users and predators, stop giving false leaders a platform. It hurts my brain to think all of the women who suffered and are still suffering to this day to be looked at as a lesser being by people like Andrew. Who gave such people the right? I wonder how monsters like him are able to sleep at night. Does he keep himself high on a pedestal and think of himself as someone untouchable, free from all the guilt of the world? Living is as hard as it is. Let's not add more problems into our lives by letting ignorant, toxic people have a voice to spread hatred.
Rivers run dry, dust breaths in the air. 2 dark days, do you have a tear to spare? Make a promise start a riot. When they love you too much, know it's fame, fake, or even hate. Don't be scared if the way parallel.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.
No, it's a lot to take in. It's the sound.